If you value the depth and clarity of the content we bring you, please subscribe to our channel. Your support allows us to invest more time, research, and resources into producing daily high-quality golf content and delivering even more detailed deep dives in the future. Okay, so let's unpack something that I think pretty much every single golfer listening to this has struggled with at some point.
Oh, I know I have.
Right. So I want you to picture this. It is January. You are super motivated.
New year, new swing.
Exactly.
Huh.
You go down to your local pro, you swipe your credit card, and you buy a pack of 6 lessons.
Yeah.
You take that first one, you feel great, but then, work gets busy or it rains for 2 straight weeks.
Or you tweak your back.
Or you tweak your back. And suddenly it is August. You've used maybe 2 of those lessons, and your slice is exactly the same as it was in January.
Yeah, the lesson pack graveyard. It is a very real place.
It's where good intentions go to die. And the reason I bring this up today is that we are doing a deep dive into a platform called Perform72. And they are making a claim that is, honestly, pretty aggressive.
Very aggressive.
They are saying that the traditional model, that whole idea of buying a pack of lessons and just hoping for the best, is basically dead. They're actually calling their platform the new way to coach.
It is a bold claim, absolutely. But when you look at the source material we have today, which comes directly from the Perform72 platform documentation.
Right, covering their recent move from a beta program to a full launch.
Exactly, in this current 2024 to 2026 window. They actually make a really compelling case for why that old model is broken. They aren't just saying, hey, buy our app. They're diagnosing a systemic illness in golf instruction.
Right, and that diagnosis seems to really center on this distinction between what they call static models and a dynamic system.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get into all the features and the cool gadgets, let's unpack that concept. What exactly is the problem with this static model?
Okay, so think of a static model as a snapshot in time. You go to a lesson, the pro videos your swing, they draw some lines on an iPad screen, give you a drill, and say, see you in 3 weeks. That lesson was a static event. But your life, your actual golf game, that is entirely dynamic. The moment you leave that lesson tee, things change.
You might sleep poorly.
You might get sore. Or, you might go home and watch a YouTube video that completely contradicts everything your coach just told you to do.
Oh, guilty as charged right
Yes.
there. The conflicting philosophies trap. My coach tells me to weaken my grip, and then I go home and immediately watch a video telling me I need to strengthen it.
Exactly. And the source material explicitly identifies conflicting philosophies as a major friction point. In the traditional static model, there is no filter. You are just bombarded with noise between those lessons.
And Perform72 is arguing that without a system to filter that noise out, to keep you on track day to day, the lesson pack is essentially doomed to fail.
Yeah, they actually list sustainability as a core issue. And they don't mean environmental sustainability. They mean the sustainability of a player's motivation.
Right, because motivation fades.
Precisely. Lesson packs don't last. That is a direct quote from the source.
Mm-hmm.
They don't last because motivation is a finite resource. If you don't have a constant feedback loop, something that is nudging you, tracking you, and showing you real progress between those expensive hours with the pro...
You just fall off the wagon.
You fall off the wagon. It is human nature.
So Perform72 is pitching itself as the solution to all this fragmentation.
Yeah.
And they list 5 pillars that they believe need to be integrated into one single ecosystem to make this work.
Yeah, and let's run through those because I think they really frame the rest of our discussion today.
Go for it.
So the 5 pillars are coaching, fitness, practice, mindset, and measurement.
Now, here is where it gets super interesting to me. Because usually, if you're a serious golfer trying to improve, you already have 5 different apps for these exact things.
Oh, at least 5.
Right. You have a fitness app for your gym work, a scorecard app for your weekend rounds, maybe a meditation app for mindset.
A calendar for booking the lesson.
Exactly. It's a complete mess. It is digital clutter.
It really is.
Yeah.
Perform72 is betting that if you can consolidate all these into a single ecosystem, you get a dynamic system rather than just a messy collection of disconnected tips.
It's about closing the loop between what happens in the gym on Tuesday and what happens on the first tee on Saturday.
Exactly.
Now, that totally makes sense for the player. But we have a lot of coaches who tune into these deep dives, and when I was reading through the business model section of the sources, I really felt like the text was speaking directly to their daily anxiety.
Oh, 100%.
There is this specific phrase that keeps popping up: stop trading time for money.
Yes, and this is the economic heart of the entire platform. If you are a golf coach, your income is traditionally linear. You can only stand on a driving range for so many hours a day before your back gives out or before the sun goes down.
And if it rains, you don't get paid.
If you get sick, you don't get paid. There is a hard cap on your earnings.
And burnout is just a massive issue in the teaching industry.
Huge. So Perform72 is pushing a major shift toward what they call recurring revenue programs. Instead of selling an hour of your time on the range, you are selling a monthly subscription to your expertise. You are selling access to a structured, ongoing development plan.
Okay, so explain how that works practically. I am a student. I pay a monthly fee to my coach. What am I actually getting if I am not standing right next to them on the grass?
You are getting a roadmap. So your coach builds a plan inside the system. Let's say it's a 12-week break 9-day program.
Yeah.
That program includes specific drills, fitness routines, and mindset exercises. They deploy that directly to your player profile. You do the work on your own time. You upload videos of your practice, and then the coach reviews them asynchronously.
Meaning they look at it whenever they have time, not live.
Right. And this allows one coach to effectively manage 50 or 100 students without having to be physically present for every single swing they take.
But to do that, you need serious organization. I mean, I cannot imagine trying to manage 50 students who are all sending me their swing videos via WhatsApp or text message.
That would be an absolute nightmare. And that is exactly where the operational efficiency features come in. The source material highlights that Perform72 centralizes everything.
Student data, lesson history, all of it.
All of it. The chat logs, it is all in one location. And the chat feature isn't just a generic messenger, it is highly contextual. You can attach a comment directly to a specific drill or a specific round of golf.
Oh, that is huge. So no more scrolling back through 3 months of text messages trying to find that one specific video where I was actually shallowing the club correctly.
Exactly. It creates an index library of your progress. And speaking of video, I thought the approach to camera technology here was actually really smart.
You mean how they handle the third-party utilities?
Yes, because a lot of platforms try to force you to use their built-in camera tool, which is usually pretty clunky. But Perform72 acknowledges that serious coaches already have very expensive, high-end setups.
Right. The source explicitly mentions utilities like Swing Catalyst and Golf Swing Systems.
Which are top-tier, incredibly expensive pieces of software.
Yeah, they are.
So Perform72 allows the coach to record in those native systems using all their expensive force plates and launch monitors, and then just attach that resulting file directly to the player profile.
So they aren't trying to replace the specialized tools.
Not at all. They are just acting as the central hub where all that disparate data finally lives together.
Okay, let's pivot over to the player experience side of things. Because if I'm the one paying this monthly subscription, I want to know what it actually feels like to use it day in and day out. We talked earlier about that holistic approach, integrating fitness and mindset.
This is crucial. I mean, how many times have you tried to make a swing change, but your body physically would not let you do the movement?
Literally every time I try to turn my shoulders past 90 degrees.
Right. So Perform72 integrates golf fitness directly into the app. Your coach can assign you mobility drills that show up right next to your putting drills. It acknowledges that the golfer is an athlete, not just a robot swinging a stick.
And to track that athlete, they are leaning heavily into wearables. The list of integrations in the source text is honestly pretty impressive.
It is basically the quantified self-movement finally coming to golf. The text lists major integrations with Garmin, WAP, and Apple Watch.
Wow.
Which means your coach can theoretically see your daily strain, your recovery metrics, your sleep data.
So if you show up to a lesson and you have a 1% recovery score on your W8 band,
Yeah.
your coach knows not to just grind you into the dust hitting drivers that day.
Exactly. But the big partnership, the one that really jumps out of the text, is Arcos.
Yes, Arcos. For listeners who don't know, Arcos is basically the 800-pound gorilla of on-course data collection. These are the little sensors you screw into the end of your grips, and they track every single shot you hit during a round. I actually use them. The data is incredible, but sometimes it's a bit of a pain to have to log into a totally separate app to look at it and figure out what it means.
Well, Perform72 has a direct integration built right in. Now, you can enter your scores manually in their play section if you want to. But the source makes it very clear that Arcos provides automated club and strokes gained data directly into the Perform72 ecosystem.
And we should probably pause for a second on strokes gained. Because if we are talking about data, that is the metric that really matters.
It is the only metric that matters at a high level. Traditional stats like putts per round completely lie to you.
Because if you miss every green but hit your chip to 2 inches, you're going to have a lot of one putts.
Right, but that doesn't mean you are a great putter, it just means you are a good chipper. Strokes gained actually measures your performance against a mathematical baseline of the average golfer. It tells you exactly where you are losing shots. Is it off the tee? Is it approach play?
And having that automated data pipe directly to the coach is a massive game changer. Because let's be honest, we all lie to our coaches. We walk in and say, oh, I drove the ball great this weekend. I just got unlucky breaks.
We all do it, but the data cuts right through that emotion. The coach sees the raw automated numbers and says, actually, you lost 4 strokes off the tee, so guess what? We are working on driver today. It removes all the subjectivity.
Now, there was also a really specific nugget of insight in the text regarding Arcos, a little financial incentive for the users.
Yes, and it's a very smart play. The source explicitly mentions that free sensors are available when a user pays for an annual subscription to Perform72.
Which is wild, considering those sensors can cost a couple $100s on their own. That is a massive value add.
It really lowers the barrier to entry.
It's a classic ecosystem play, right? Get the hardware in their hands so the software becomes sticky. But beyond just the gadgets and the data, there is a deep psychological component mentioned in the text. Something about forming habits.
Yes. Create great habits, and you create a great athlete. That is the platform's tagline. They use a system of notifications and alerts to ensure users are doing the necessary work every single day.
It sounds a bit like they are gamifying discipline.
In a way, they are. It is almost the Duolingo effect, but for your golf game.
Yeah.
If your phone buzzes and tells you to do your 15 minutes of mirror drills, and this is the key part, you know your coach is going to see whether you check that box or not.
You are way more likely to actually just get up and do it. Accountability is a powerful drug.
It really is. The source notes that this turns practice from a sporadic once-a-week event into an unbreakable habit, and consistency beats sheer intensity every single time.
Okay, I want to get into the deep dive detail that I honestly found the most fascinating. It sounds super boring on the surface. We're talking about widgets.
Oh, the widgets are great.
Right, but when I read how they are actually implementing this, I realize they have thought so deeply about the user interface.
I agree completely. The widget system is a perfect real-world example of prioritizing clarity over clutter.
Because usually a dashboard is just a dashboard. The software developer decides what I see. I log in and I see my handicap, my driving distance, my fairway percentage, just everything at once, whether I care about it right then or not.
And that creates massive information overload. If I am currently in a training block working purely on my putting, I do not need to be reminded every time I log in that my driving distance is down 2 yards. It is distracting.
Right. So Perform72 allows the coach or the player to completely customize the interface using these modular widgets.
Yeah, do you want to walk through the specific example they give in the text?
Yeah, let's do it. So the text uses the example of a student who is focusing on a short game block. Let's say for the next 12 weeks, the only goal that matters is improving chipping and putting. In Perform72, the coach can go in and enable only the short game widgets on that student's dashboard.
So when you log in, you don't even see the driving stats or the approach stats.
Correct. It literally puts blinders on you. It forces you to hyper-focus on the specific goal at hand. It perfectly aligns the digital interface with the coach's current teaching philosophy.
And the coaches actually have a ton of control here behind the scenes.
They do. The source mentions that coaches can request completely new custom widgets by contacting a customer services manager or CSM.
But, and this is the design constraint that I absolutely love, there is a 6 new widgets rule.
Yeah, explain that, because why 6? That seems like such a random, arbitrary number.
It does sound arbitrary at first, but it is actually brilliant product management. Coaches are allowed to design up to 6 new widgets per year, tailored to their specific coaching needs.
Okay, but why limit it?
Think about it. If they could design 100 new widgets every year, the app would instantly become a bloated, confused mess. By limiting it to just 6, it forces the coach to really sit down and think, what is the one single metric or view that is absolutely critical to my teaching style that doesn't already exist in the system?
Oh, wow. It forces prioritization.
Exactly. It completely prevents feature creep, which is the slow death of so many software platforms out there. It keeps the ecosystem clean, but still totally flexible for the pros.
That is a really nuanced detail that shows they are thinking about the long-term health and stability of the platform. So we have covered the features, the philosophy, the business model. Where does this company actually stand right now? I mean, is this just a white paper or is this a real thing people can use?
Oh, it is very real. The source material is explicitly titled From Beta to Full Launch. They take time to thank the coaches who helped shape the beta program, noting that it was highly successful, and they are now officially declaring that enrollment is open for new coaches.
So the doors are wide open.
They are open, and the full launch implies a few specific things according to the text. First, early access to the full suite of features we have been discussing today, the widgets, the integrations, the contextual chat.
Everything is live.
Right. Second, the ability to start building player profiles and actually generating those recurring revenue businesses immediately. And third, the rhetoric in the text is very much about joining a community that is actively shaping the future of performance coaching.
And for anyone listening, whether you are a coach or a player, who might be thinking, this all sounds great, but I have been burned by golf apps before.
We all have.
Is there a way for them to test the waters without taking a huge risk?
Yes. The source includes a very specific call to action. It says, unlock your 30-day premium access. This grants full access to go in, create drills, build out scalable programs, and essentially test drive the entire ecosystem before committing to it fully.
So really, there are no excuses not to at least look under the hood if you are a coach struggling with burnout.
Exactly.
All right, let's zoom out here as we wrap up. We started this deep dive by talking about the lesson-packed graveyard. We have gone through the tech, the physiology, the recurring business model. What does this all really mean for the future of the game?
I think the main takeaway here is centralization. Perform72 is basically attempting to herd the cats of the golf improvement world. They are trying to take your fitness, which lives over in the gym, your data, which lives on the sensors on your clubs, and your swing tips, which live out on the range, and force them all into one dynamic system.
It is the end of fragmentation.
That is certainly the goal. And the core value proposition is that data is only truly useful when it is focused, which is what the widget system does, and consistent, which is what the habit and notification system does. Without focus and consistency, all this wearable data is just noise.
That is a great point. Data without direction is just trivia. But I know you, and I know you always have a so what that goes a little deeper than just the tech specs.
I do. This entire platform raises a really provocative question for me. If we look at where this technology is going,
Okay.
if the system can automate your on-course data collection with Arcos, and if it can dictate your daily fitness plan based on your WHO recovery metrics, and if it can customize your entire visual dashboard based on your current focus,
I think I see exactly where you are headed with this.
does the role of the coach fundamentally change? Are we moving away from the coach being a teacher of mechanics, someone who just looks at your swing and tells you to grip the club tighter, and moving toward the coach being essentially a manager of data?
Wow. That is deep. The coach as the CEO of your golf game, rather than just the mechanic fixing the engine on the range.
Exactly. The system, the dynamic system, does all the heavy lifting of tracking and measuring. The coach just provides the high-level strategy and the human empathy. It is a fascinating shift in the industry. It totally empowers the coach to be more impactful, but it also absolutely requires them to be comfortable with technology.
It is a brave new world for the driving range pro. And honestly, if it saves me from wasting money on another six-pack of lessons that I never finish, I'm all for it.
Same here.
Well, that is all the time we have for today's deep dive into Perform72. We hope you found it as interesting as we did. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.